What's up, everyone? I hope you're doing well. This is Jesse Bond with Quit Last MMA, and up today is podcast number 3, where me and Anthony David break down the amazing fight between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, and we talk about a few of the other fights that were on the card, and we also get into Mike Perry's apology for the use of the N-word and whether anybody should use it. So, slight little departure from your regular MMA talk, but we break down the fights. It was an awesome weekend. We got some awesome fights coming up too, so stay tuned. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Quit last. Quit last. Quit last. Quit last.
We are up and running. Quit Last MMA. Jesse Bond, Anthony David.
Yes, indeed. Jesse, let's go.
Bro, I am so excited to talk to you today.
Yes, indeed. That was, whoo. I mean, yeah, the headliner closed out.
Bro, what a freaking fight, man.
And emotional, too.
Yeah, totally emotional. So, of course, we're jumping right in. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but of course we're jumping right in. We're talking about Usman and Burns. Mm-hmm. In case you didn't know, if you're an MMA fan and you didn't know that Usman and Burns were fighting, then
you're not an MMA fan.
Then you're just not. What's the matter with you? Where have you been living?
Yeah, exactly. Nah, you're casual if you weren't watching this fight. It was the best matchup, like most skill for skill matchup that we've had. This year, for sure. Yeah.
In a while, definitely, for sure. Well, who was on the very first card of the year? Because there was...
no, that was Conor and Dustin.
Oh, Conor and Dustin. There was another fight in there where I was like, dang, first card. Like,
yeah.
Who else was on that card? Oh, I can't even think. It doesn't even matter. We don't need to be talking about Conor and Dustin.
There's always good matchups, but that one was, in terms of like, they're strictly for the ranking and the skill. Yeah.
Right. Dude. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because like 155 has been getting so much shine. Like 135 has been getting shine. Right. Israel going up to 205 to fight Yan, heavyweight, like, we got all these divisions that are getting shine, and like 170 was kind of just like, I don't want, what do we say, plateaued? Mm-hmm. Like it plateaued a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and we knew we were all waiting for Usman Burns. Like, This was the fight. We knew that these were the two guys. After we saw Usman and Colby fight, we were like, Burns is just destroying people. How is this going to go? And now, we got to get into the breakdown of the fight, but just to preface it, this division is heating up now, and we got to get into this. Like after this weekend, it's like, man, what division is not hot in the UFC right now?
Yeah, because even when you look at the other parts of the card, we can talk about 125 for women.
Dude, for real. Yeah.
So this night opened up a little bit more. It wasn't even like I didn't get to see all the card. I had a show, but right. I saw from Gastelum.
Right.
On, yeah, but that's about 3 fights. That's all. Yeah. So it showed a lot tonight.
But man, so break it down, man. What did you think? How did you view the Usman Burns fight?
It happened pretty much like I thought, except for Burns didn't get the finish. Like, I thought that the speed and the hands were going to be better than Usman. And when you saw what he did in the first round, I thought he was going to finish him. You know what I mean? But I did not know about that jab. I did not. Got to really give Usman credit for his composure. Man, he showed up. He showed why. He answered a lot of questions for me. And, I wouldn't say I'm a hater of his, but I am a little critical when he says stuff like, y'all must have forgot, or the haters. And I know Joe Rogan was like, I mean, I don't think there's many haters out there. I think I could be considered in that. Like, I was definitely kind of pulling back on him and sort of betting against him sometimes. And he shut my mouth. Like, he did. Yeah, he did his thing.
He
So
shut everybody's mouth.
yeah,
I mean, and in a sad way, he shut Gilbert's mouth too.
yeah.
But like, I'm with you though. I think where it comes from, where like he may get put a rung down from, somebody like an Izzy, who is such a large personality, but Izzy's a striker, you know what I mean? And Usman's a wrestler. And so like, we're kind of in this age where the wrestlers of the UFC are, like, it's frowned upon a little bit. Like, you see Nate Diaz, like, what they're gonna do? Go out and hug me? Masvidal, same thing. You're just gonna hold on to me for 5 rounds? Like, so I think it's easy to just lump Usman into that category.
Yeah.
But he showed, in that Colby Covington fight, he showed that, like, I'll stand on my feet for 5 rounds straight. And so, from there on, and then he fought Masvidal, and it was a straight wrestling match, really.
Yeah.
So, so then it kind of brings up these questions of like, why is he going to fight a striker,
right,
with only wrestling? You know what I mean?
Yes. And let me tell you something. I'm glad we did this a couple of days later, so I got a chance to think about it, or I got a chance to see some things pop out.
Right.
Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
What's up? Wonder. What's up? Now it's time for Wonder Boy to get that shot. He's kept himself in the top 5. He has a following. People like him. And he is a striker that gave a lot of wrestlers trouble with that footwork. This could be a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Again against Usman again.
Exactly. But it is interesting, because you saw Thompson after the fight come out and say, like, he was like, Usman's beat everybody else in the division. Guess it's my turn. Like, where's my shot at? And it's kind of hard to argue that. It's like, especially when we got Dana coming out and saying that he wants Colby Covington to step in for March 13th to fight Leon.
Right.
So, because it was like, come on, Leon should probably wait for the title shot now, because he's on an 8-fight win streak. But
he lost to him before.
Yeah. A while ago. But still, like, he's been on a tear, but he's also been out too. And so it's kind of like, geez, do you want to throw him right into a title fight when we haven't seen him for almost 2 years now?
Build your name up a little bit more. And I don't know. I'm not mad at Leon, but yeah, he don't got. If you got like a name and all that stuff, then you can skip things. You know what I mean? You can skip, but if you don't, you do sort of have to do it another way. And that's just how it goes. Like, I'm sorry. But then on top of that, Stephen Thompson has been active. Oh, well, he got active. Who did he just fight? Whoever it was, he beat him. Like, they were trying to make him a gatekeeper. Right. He was like, I'm not doing that. And he stays present. He's got his name on, he's got his podcast, blah, blah, blah. He does all that extra work.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. More sense than even Jorge at this point, I think. Because he beat him.
Right.
And Usman beat Jorge. So Steven's doing the right thing. I think he's doing it. They're probably when Dana and them, when they sit down and think about this, that's what's going to happen, I think.
I hope so, because that's just a fun fight. You know what I mean? And it's hard because, I don't know. I'm not really giving Wonder Boy much of a chance for the win. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But he could. Like, Wonder Boy can knock anybody out at any given time if it stays on the feet. You know, the question is like, how can anybody keep Usman off of them is the question.
Right. But at least there's a question. That's what I'm saying too. There was a question with the Burns fight. This is another question for Usman to answer.
Yeah.
That he's answered a lot. And I really, a friend of mine, Jay, was like, he's Nigerian, so he's like super Usman fan, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I mean, I am too. But I'm like, well, shit, he's done answering all the questions. So now he can have fun. He can do the Jorge thing. And then Stephen Thompson pops up. I'm like, oh, that's another question.
Yeah.
That's why I like to watch fights. I want to see the answer. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And but here's the thing though.
Mm-hmm.
Thompson, Usman. What is that, by the way?
Scrambled eggs. I threw some sausage in there. And then gallo pinto. A girl made it's traditional Costa Rican dish. It's just black beans and rice, but they do it a different way. You know what I'm saying?
That looks good. I just ate and I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. So we got Usman Thompson, right? Mm-hmm. That, no offense to Thompson, because I love Wonder Boy. He's one of my top 5 favorite fighters in the UFC, period. Mm-hmm. But as far as a marquee billing, Masvidal Usman is going to be just absolutely insane. I mean, how do you not do 1 million pay-per-views on that?
Especially if they do the Ultimate Fighter.
Right. the tough season that they're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah. I can see it from that perspective. I just think, and see, that's why somebody like Leon Edwards is way out, because he don't have much name recognition. Thompson has enough name recognition and the ranking argument to cancel that out. Maybe it depends. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch either one. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Yeah, it depends. I can see it going either way. I at this point, I would prefer to see it with Thompson, but that might. I mean, I ain't mad at Jorge. I mean, at Usman for calling out Jorge to get that check. Maybe you can get that in between, get that one, and then go do Thompson afterwards. Yeah.
Well, and of course, Masvidal's not staying quiet. He's chirping back.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of like, you know what Dana wants. Dana wants that paper, man, and it's kind of like that's the money fight right there.
And I still hold out because I mean, I'm telling you, I like. That's the problem with Usman. It's like I like him. It's just that he keeps going against people I like more.
Right. Yeah, it's hard, and it's one of those things. It's like, but Usman is so smart, like he's well spoken. Every podcast he's done, every interview he's done, like he's a very likable guy. He's a good champion. His response in the ring after just destroying Gilbert Burns. It was so nice to see that, man, because he's such a competitor. He was so fired up, but you could tell he just has a lot of love in his heart for Gilbert, and he knows how dangerous that dude is, and he knows that if he wasn't there, that would be the champ,
Yeah, and that was such an ill metaphor for life too. Like the way they have to Usman he feels for his boy, loves his boy, but when it comes to competition, it's just like, I'm here to sharpen you up. That's it. Like,
pretty much.
And there's no way I could do that without beating your ass. I mean, that's just how it is. Like, it was his answers and everything he was saying was like, he deserved to be in there with me. You know what I mean? It was like, but that's not being arrogant. That's just saying like, I'm working hard, he's working hard. I am not gonna let him beat me.
Yeah. It's respect. And you saw Usman come with the yes, we're friends, but he's trying to take something that's mine. It's mine. Like he's trying to steal something from me.
Right.
And so
and you could tell Gilbert was crying. That also, cause sometimes you see something like happen and the guy go, "Oh, I'm happy for him." Gilbert's like, "No, I wanted to win, dog. I tried to knock his ass out. My boy, I wanted to knock him out."
He sure did.
But Like, I like to see that kind of stuff, man.
I mean, was that the first time that Usman's ever been knocked down in a fight?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, let's just talk about the start of the fight because, like,
Yeah.
let's be honest, the rest of the card, like, there was some decent fights. We had a few submissions. I think we had, yeah, there was just 3 other submissions. The rest of the fights were decisions. So, like, as far, there was some good fights. But man, when Burns and Usman were walking out, I mean, you could just feel it. And like when they're announcing them, up until like the bell rings, like you saw how game Gilbert was, and you saw how fast Gilbert engaged.
He
You
came
know what I
out.
mean?
He threw a hook. I don't know if it was a left or a right from the gate. It was, and he threw that shit too. It was like, woo!
So fast. I mean, like watching back, it's just like this dude's hands are incredible, and he wasn't a striker before. Like this dude is a jiu-jitsu master.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's developed this hand speed and power that's just crazy. And Usman was saying, he was like, anybody else in the division, if they would have taken that shot, they wouldn't have gotten back up.
Behind the ear like that. And Usman's, you got to give it up for his chin, everything about it. Like that dude, I should never bet against him. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to bet against him again.
Right. Of course. You just don't want your Africa card for real.
It's crazy. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. But every time he keeps facing people like Stephen Thompson, and it was crazy. I did not like him when it was going against Woodley, but over this like 2-3 year period, he's become one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And then his style, I just like strikers.
Yeah.
I would see some, but Usman can strike.
He can, man. Dude, that jab. Let me tell you, I was so worried for Usman. I was like, there's no way Usman is going to be able to weather this storm and take any more shots. But like, as soon as he got knocked down, he slowed the fight down for the next like minute or so to where he could catch a second wind.
Gilbert fucked up too when he fell. That when he did the little kick and he hit the ground. And now Usman, credit to him, he didn't let him get up. He was like letting him stay on the guard. But I think he maybe should have tried harder. If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, right. He's a fighter. He would know. But I think he let him clear his head. It would probably been worth it to try to get up. You know what I mean?
For sure. Get up. Absolutely. But you could tell how aggressive Usman was in just standing over him. And you could tell, like, I remember Burns was down on his back and Usman threw that one body shot and you could tell Burns' demeanor just changed. He was like, oh crap. Like, you could tell how much confidence Burns had coming into the fight. And you could tell immediately once Usman landed that shot, there goes that confidence out the window. Like, I'm going to fight with a dude who can kill me. Like, I felt like that was the point where like the seriousness of the fight went from here to here. You know what I mean? For Burns.
You know what's crazy? I on the energy tip, I thought Burns was a little off coming in. Like, he was a little, Usman came in like driven. I felt like, I remember saying, I felt like Burns down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but that might have been my perception of it. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think back to like Burns walkout. I mean, he's a jovial guy. Pure, like seems like he's more of a lighthearted dude. You know what I mean? Like he likes to have fun. Like he's very serious, but he's like your typical Brazilian that's like all smiles and then they rob you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Atlanta thugs, man. I always say, like they'll rob you, but like they got a smile on their face. They'll be like, oh man, come on, man. I got to take your car, bro. I'm sorry. Like they still got the Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
But like Burns Burns, I think, is just that type. But you know, I don't think Burns has been put to that test. You know, where like that switch had to flip. Like, oh no, like this is, you know, because that's the difference between an Usman and a Burns. Usman now has won 13 fights in a row.
Yeah,
And,
he don't.
And how many title fights has it been now? Was this his third or fourth?
Yeah,
something like that. I
Mhm.
mean, big time fights. Like he fought Jorge, he fought Colby,
Mhm.
fought Tyron, right?
Big fights.
Did he have
He's earned
and Gilbert?
He's earned every bit of it. Like, and man, this call out. I mean, he should be. Hold up. Jeez, I thought I put the yeah. These motherfuckers. Hello.
Yeah, right.
On don't disturb. Like that means whoever just called it, and it wasn't even a number I know, called like enough times to shut that down or something.
Hey man, you got student loans that they need to help you pay for, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, hey, you want it? I'm like, dude, I did some stupid shit the other sorry with the I forgot about the cousin here. I signed, you know how you end up signing up for something and then like their phone rings to death for a couple of times.
Right.
I did, and I'm so mad at myself about that.
we used to do that back in the day. We would go into gyms and get like the free week cards and like sign our friends up for all of them and do it over and over and over again. So gyms would just keep calling them like, hey, we got your free week.
Oh, so dumb. I got it was like a Disney something. And I was like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
And I'm paying for it this last 2 weeks, really.
Of course. Spamming on them. Yeah. But yeah, man, dude, so Usman weathered the storm. He put a hurting. You could tell like those shots to Burns' legs were hurting too when he was on his back.
Yeah.
I was impressed because a lot of guys just use that to like
and to back it up, right?
Yeah, to like maybe find their spot where they can jump in and land a big headshot, like get some ground and pound, get some top control. And Usman was like, nah, I'm just gonna kick your legs until they fall off. And then he was like, oh, you're gonna give me an opening, I'm gonna take the body shot too. And like I'm gonna treat you on your back like how dudes treat it standing up, really.
Right. But Gilbert was giving those straight kicks to the knee too.
Yeah.
Like it was interesting. I just think, yeah, he did try to get up once and Usman showed. So more than likely, it wasn't on purpose that he stayed there, but I was just wanting him to get up, you know, to back on it. Usman's so smart. That was so smart.
And aggressive too. And aggressive. Like it was like active rest. He was still, you know, taking the time to punish Burns.
Right.
But taking the time to clear those cobwebs too.
Right. Like
I was like,
I'll get my 30 seconds to a minute. It might have been a minute and a half.
Right.
Like if you try to get up, I'm gonna jump on you. If you try to get up, you're gonna be in this position. It's gonna be a guillotine. It's gonna be something.
Yeah.
And Burns, it took him a minute. It took him a minute to get up. It was good, but he was also a little bit. I think he was a little bit more like, "Oh, come get in this guard. Come on, let's go."
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, the second round, he got that jab working. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah.
That jab, man.
Yeah.
And then he switching sides too. He switching stances.
Yeah.
So I think the first couple were a left jab, and then the one that finished him was a jab. His right was going forward. So that's his power.
Yeah, man. And that was that third round jab.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. I just thinking back to the fight, I haven't watched it a second time yet. But thinking back, I felt like the fight ended in the second round. Just, you know, and I looked and I was like, oh no, they did go to the third round. It was what, 34 seconds into the third round or so?
Yeah, Burns struggled. got it. You got to give him credit. He got through to that third. So I was like, all right, we're ready to go. But he wasn't ready to go. By then, it was like, I know what's going on. Like, you got more hands than me, but you can't beat a jab. You can't.
No.
I don't care how you are. You can't.
and you heard Trevor Whitman, and it was crazy because like on Saturday, another buddy reached out and he was like, "Man, who you got?" I was like, I can't pick against Usman. You know, I was like, Burns is so scary, so explosive, so fast, so powerful. But like, we've seen Usman striking evolve, and now being with Trevor Whitman, I was like, now he's with Trevor, like the striking is only gonna get better. Like, is it gonna be exponentially better? I don't know, but is it gonna be 10% better? Because for a dude in Usman who's already an absolute monster and a beast, like 10% is a lot, you know what I mean? Like, and Trevor, I just when I was hearing him coach during the fight, I was like, this is exactly
Why?
what, yeah, it was like exactly what I thought was gonna come out of Usman, training with Gaethje, being with Trevor, because you heard Trevor saying like, you're a champion because of your jab.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, that jab makes you a champion. Stick with it. And then you heard him like, your patience is killing him. Like, you just heard these things coming out of Trevor, and I was just getting chills, man. I was like, that dude, Trevor Whitman.
Yeah, I like watching him. Yeah, he always has the right things to say. Even when in the loss to Khabib with Justin Gaethje,
yeah,
he said, slow it down.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like that patience, and you saw like even though Usman had Burns hurt, that was in the second, right, where he had him hurt to where like we thought he was going to get finished, but Usman didn't rush it. Usman still like just a little more patient, and he was like, that's when Trevor said that patience line, and it was crazy because like just think, like put yourself in Burns' shoes, like, man, I thought I was done, but this dude is like he's not chasing me, so I'm like, I have a second to think about it, you know what I mean, like but he's still putting enough pressure to where
he's stalking.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's just that inevitability.
Yeah, and with the type of fight that's supposed to help me to win, it can't be on his terms, but it is. You know?
Right. When Usman started pushing the pace,
right,
in a patient way, like that's what's crazy is like he was still pushing that pace and still putting the pressure enough to put him on his heels, but just enough to like be patient, pick his shots. And God, man, that jab, like, have you seen somebody in MMA with that much power in their jab?
Nobody. Yeah. That's what it's, yeah, he's and then you got to give it, I mean, yeah, he's motivated, you can see it, he's training, he's driven, he's in the zone.
Yeah. I mean, for me, as soon as that fight ended, because I was like, well, here's 13, right? So like, he just passed GSP in the welterweight division for most wins in a row.
Right.
So Anderson has 16 in a row overall, but that's through a couple weight classes.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking like, man, GSP's been training. Everybody wants this GSP Khabib fight. I'm like, oh, how awesome would it be to bring back GSP to face Usman?
So that's what's so dope about where Usman is. It's like either Jorge, Wonder Boy, GSP, or Khabib. He got 4 nice options on the table, and he's doing the right. He's called out. No, he hasn't really said anything about Khabib yet. I think he actually just kind of threw it out there, whatever. But that's on the table. that would be an interesting challenge for Khabib too. Like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, and that could, you know, that could sell. GSP Thompson, hey, he's sitting in the catbird seat. You know what I'm saying?
Sure is. You know, for me, Khabib and St. Pierre is interesting. I don't know. Like, here's the thing: if Khabib gets his first loss against Usman, there's like that built-in excuse of I went up a weight class. Usman is naturally a much bigger dude than me. Because I mean, Usman during weigh-ins, like he looked so lean and so much smaller during weigh-ins, and then he gets in the octagon, and Usman is he's a monster. Like that is a big dude, man. How he makes 170 pounds, he's got to walk around at what, 195 at least, at least.
He'd have to cut, and Khabib wouldn't have to do nothing.
That's true. That is true.
Which would be a good, yeah. And if Khabib loses, no big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 29-1. That would be tough. And like his mom doesn't want him to fight again.
Right, you're right. Up until yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But I mean, of course, like sign me up all day. But GSP Kamaru for like a goat of all goats, especially in the welterweight division.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's, you know, GSP can do 170. He's not making 155.
Right. Now, Kamaru should win that. Like, he should win that. Like,
good.
If GSP won that, sheesh, you can't say nothing.
Nothing.
You're not supposed to be a guy who's like 32 or something like that, and you're 39 or something, you know.
Right.
And he's a wrestler, and you learned wrestling. Like, I mean, you should beat GSP. He should. Usman should beat GSP. Now, there's a lot of people that maybe can't, but Usman, that's a person. That's one of those people I would go with Usman on that one. You know what I'm saying? Right. Shit, only him.
I mean, pretty much. What a hater! But by the end of the podcast, you're gonna be like, "Nah, I'm picking Usman for everything."
You remember when Trevor Whitman? I almost flipped to Usman then.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, what's not to love, man? I mean, bro, I cannot wait. Like, it's so crazy that, you know, it was, I saw Dana get questioned. I think Brett Okamoto questioned him. He was like, you know, did it feel like leading up to the Burns Usman fight that it was like a little underwhelming as far as like coverage, as far as the level of excitement that, you know, maybe fans had? And Dana was just like, well, that's because people are stupid. Like, we've been waiting for this fight forever. And so like, it did feel a little underwhelming. And when it was in December, you know, I felt like, oh geez, this is like Colby Usman again in December. Like it's gonna be a big deal. And then it got moved, it got pushed back. It was like the date was floating around for a little bit. And like overall, like the card, there was no other like real big, you know, there wasn't a big like, you know, co-main fight. It was a good fight, but it, you know, but I'm with Dana on that. I mean, like, geez, look how fired up Usman has us, because I think it's just like we're realizing this dude could go down as the best to ever do it. You know what I mean?
Now I want to see him fight Thompson, and then I'll be like, all right, he just can cruise now. He can just take. I don't know why I should say cruise, because I used to say that about Joanna Jacek, and then stupid ass Rose showed up. So
right, your other favorite.
Yeah. So you know, whatever. Yeah, I mean, you got it. Now there is still a question left with Thompson, style wise. I think that's a style that could give him some trouble, or he can make it look like nothing. But Thompson gave Woodley problems. and Woodley could have done the wrestle thing against him, but he made him sit back. He gave, Big Rig. I mean, granted, Big Rig was already acting, was on the last whatever, but he's done this to wrestlers before.
Yeah.
Usman has something different than them, so he should probably just get him up in the corner, keep him there. That's what's going to be. It'll be probably boring to watch. Or Thompson light him up. We don't know. That's a good debate right there. I want to see that happen. I want to see that one. That's the one I want.
I mean, I was scared for Thompson when he was going into that Vicente Luque fight, because that was the fight that was after Luque like busted Mike Perry's nose to the other side of his face. You know, and I was like, Luque is that type of dude who can take a shot. He's never going to stop. Like, he's a zombie. He's going to keep coming after you, kind of like the Usman. If Thompson
gave him everything he came for.
right, bro. But if Thompson gets that fight, he's going to have to be on a bicycle the whole time. He's going to have to be running.
No problem.
Right. Scoop. To the left, to the left, to the left, to
yeah. That's what he does. There's no thing. He can do that for 5 rounds.
He better. I mean, he better take the threat of Usman very seriously, and he better.
And Thompson can wrestle. I mean, he can anti-wrestle. He's out there with Weidman. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So, you know, he can do, I've watched him talk about it. He can do lateral drops, all that kind of stuff. He can do all this stuff. He just knows that his bread is buttered where it is. So yeah. I think that's a good one. And I would love to see Wonder Boy get that belt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not going to happen, but
yeah.
As much as I would love for it too, like the nicest man ever to fight professionally.
Let's see it. That is a good one.
That's good.
I hope Dana goes for that. All right.
So we got Colby Leon on the 13th. That's what it's looking like it's going to be. That's what Dana wants.
That's Colby right there.
You know. And so what else we got? We got Masvidal. Mm-hmm. So and then, I mean, it could be Masvidal Nate. It could be Masvidal Leon. That's a possibility if the Colby fight falls through.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to see Masvidal Colby.
Masvidal's sitting back and picking what he likes now. So
yeah.
And he ain't really tripping on the title and none of that no more. I think he's trying to get his money up. That's it.
I think he just really wants to beat Usman. I think he was like,
and he can.
Yeah, I mean, he could for sure.
Yeah, this is MMA, baby. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. You get caught with one shot. Look at Sandhagen. Put Edgar out.
Like that. So, with a camp, it can happen. I prefer to see Wonder Boy. If we're going to talk merit plus a little bit of name recognition. He has more merit than Masvidal. He doesn't have as much name recognition, but he ain't nothing. You know what I mean? He has some. So, you know, yeah. I like Wonder Boy.
He's ranked 5. I mean, and he's got a good point. He's like, I haven't fought him.
Right.
It's time. Like, give me the shot.
John Shelby, you know what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. So, man, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for 170. It's, I mean, there's such good matchups there. Now Nate's throwing himself back in. I mean, like, I just can't wait to see, like, let's get this Colby Leon fight. Let's see what's up. Let's see how good Leon looks. It's been too long, and you know.
And then when Kamzat gets back in, what's up?
Right. Exactly. Which is sad. I mean, I hope he returns and gets his health in order soon. Yeah. Eventually he will.
I think, like Anna said, he was probably being stupid. You know, he seems like a hard head. Like, he was probably going out and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe. I don't know if he seems like the type that's just going to go party. You know what I mean? But who knows?
What that dude did? He flew to Ireland to fight Conor McGregor.
Right.
Got sent back.
Right.
That's how he is.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? For nothing, when nobody even knew who he was.
But it's crazy, man. I mean, like, so we've had a few guys. I know we talked about it before a little bit, but we had a few guys that had bad bouts with COVID. Did you get to hear Cody Garbrandt on Rogan yet?
No, I saw it as a headline, but I didn't check it. Yeah. I just stuck with him for a little bit. Yeah.
Because, man, like when we heard that Cody was having problems with COVID, I was like, damn, really? Like you wouldn't think that a Hamzat or a Cody Garbrandt, you know, like I wouldn't think that these dudes would have serious complications, but like listening to Cody talk about it, so he was training hard.
Mm-hmm.
Then like he started getting sick, but he didn't know what it was, and like ended up being, I think, something to do with his kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
So his kidneys started shutting down. So he was on a bunch of antibiotics, was taking a bunch of stuff, still training hard, like through that, like putting in 50, 100-mile days on his bike. And then now he gets COVID and he's been on antibiotics and he's been training so hard. And I just feel like it's one of those things where like a Hamzat, same boat, I would assume, like dude just goes, doesn't stop, like down to fight anybody at any time because he's always in shape. He can make weight within 8 days if he needs to go down to 170. Like this is a dude who's very, very disciplined, but also goes as hard as he can all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I'm assuming that it's probably that, like just being overtrained, overtired, and then when a sickness like that gets a hold of you, you know, because like if you're in tip-top shape, it might not get a hold of you. It might not be so deep-seated. Like for me, it never got in my lungs. It never got really anywhere. I had a sore throat. That was it. You know what I mean? So it was, I felt like before it could get to where it was going to be a problem, my body fought it off. But if you're overtraining,
you should say it to them. Just say it.
Right. You guys are babies. I'll take the fight. Come on. Shoot. I'll fill in. Me versus Leon.
Yeah.
Never.
You can't deal with a little COVID. I mean, then what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, hey, I don't know. There's so many ranges of ways that stuff affects people. So, you know.
Yeah.
Here we are. So, you know, come. You know.
I hope he comes back soon. I hope he's good, and I hope he gets another win right out of the gate too, because like it's only going to make the division better. It's only going to add to his, you know. Right. I mean, you see Kevin Holland, like how
70?
Huh?
185.
He's 185, but I mean, I'm just saying, you see how like a star can rise. Like you go on these streaks, and like, you know.
Yeah. He'll be fine. I think. Yeah. I mean, he's another. How many is that we just said? Like 5. And you see what I'm saying? Like 155 had that, but we weren't talking about 170, and they got that too. So
yeah.
And got just like 155 had a dominant champion, Khabib. 170 has a dominant champion who's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who's on top of his game, ready to do it. I just want to beat.
Right. Exactly.
I never wanted you to get beat. That's crazy. I'm sorry, Usman.
You just but I get it, man. Hey, man, you feel how you feel.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize.
I like him.
Hey, you can like somebody.
I like more. I shouldn't have been. I just like Burns more. I just thought that it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I did on a style for style. I probably did. I know what it is. If Usman's not going to strike unless he fights a wrestler or somebody with grappling. If he fights somebody with striking, he's going to grapple, and it's going to be boring. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
it's not my favorite. You know,
Yeah.
but
Well, but I mean,
he looks good.
so do you think he's going to get to 16?
He could, especially after this Thompson thing. If he beats Thompson, then I mean, then we just wait to see if Kamzat can get up there, and then that'll be the next sort of question, depending on how Kamzat looks against these other people.
And Leon too.
I ain't worried about Leon. You know what I'm saying?
Really. I mean, he should. I mean, Leon has skills, man. So.
No, I'm just saying, as far as Usman is concerned, that's not a question to me.
Right.
I could be wrong, but that's not where I'm not thinking about it. The two real questions to me, it will be Steven Wonderboy. I mean, it'll be Wonderboy, or it'll be Kamzat, if Kamzat answers the questions he has to answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could be wrong all day. And if what's his name again? The English guy?
Who, Leon?
Yeah, Leon.
Yeah.
If he,
Who are you, Nate Diaz now? You see that? Nate was like, who's this guy?
right. Yeah, if he's the champ, okay.
I'm sorry, man. Like, and that's so bad too, because it's like Leon is kind of getting the Stipe treatment. Like,
yeah,
it's like
for me. It's like, all right, great.
I think it stems from how he communicates.
He started beating these guys that have the names. He's using their names and their popularity. Like, bring it on. Let me get some of that shine.
Yeah.
You got to give props to that. If he can do that, see, he can't do that like Usman can do that. I don't think.
Right. But man, Usman is just such a better communicator than Leon is. Because Leon, it just seems like he's more, I don't know, he's not like soft spoken, but it's just, he talks very monotone. There's just not a lot of excitement with Leon outside of the octagon, which is a little sad, but then Leon takes a Hamzat fight and it's like, okay. He's like, all right, fine, F it. I'll fight this dude. I don't care, man.
And it's crazy because really he's like lower ranked than the other in terms of popularity that comes out.
Right, and he's on an 8-fight win streak, which is just crazy. But I don't know. It's going to be crazy to see if Usman can get to 16, because that's what we're going to be talking about now. That like this, it's like Tiger Woods chasing Jack Nicklaus. It's like, like Michael Jordan chasing his first three-peat. You know what I mean? And then it's these just mountaintop moments of like establishing yourself as one of the greatest to ever do it, without question.
And I'll say this for Usman: if anybody can do it, it would be him. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on if he answers the questions. And the question in my mind is Wonderboy.
Yeah, because styles make fights, man, and that unconventional striking. But Usman is just so good at closing distance. Like, you see Masvidal's footwork, and like how he negated that instantly almost every round. You know what I mean? And so
he's not Wonderboy.
No, that's true. It's true.
He's Masvidal.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Masvidal's my boy. That's my favorite guy. Definitely in 170, but top 3 in all weight classes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. He should just go ahead and do Diaz again. That'll be fun. Get that money. I'll watch it.
I'm still on the Conor Nate.
Where you want to fight, huh?
I'm still on that Conor Nate.
Oh yeah, that's good too. I like that. Yeah, I know. Let's talk about Grasso.
Let's talk about it, because we got to get off Usman. We've been on this man's, for too long. But yeah, man, like, it's funny because before the fight, like, I remember you saying like, oh yeah, who's that? And then, when you saw her again, you were like, oh, that's
now.
Yeah. So Grasso versus Barber.
Mm-hmm.
listen, I mean, Barber had a lot of questions against her, like how was she going to look coming back after a year off, after getting hurt, after the tear that she was on before, you know, talking about being the youngest champ, because she really had a ton of momentum behind her. And for me, so I was thinking that Macy was going to be too big for Grasso, because Grasso was fighting at 115 pounds.
Right.
And Grasso kind of had that, like, very, very good striking, very, very crisp, but like she kind of had that Michelle Watterson dilemma to me, where like her striking is good, but she can't cover a lot of distance with her striking. Like that's where Usman won in the Burns fight to me, was covering the distance with his jab. Not just the fact that it was good and he could slip it through, but like you could be in a spot where you think you're safe and you're not. Like, like it's just like there's a difference. I can close this distance, and like my range is just further. You know, Sandhagen versus Edgar, he was saying the same thing. I felt like Grasso was probably going to be too small against Macy. I felt like Macy was going to be more aggressive than Grasso, whereas Grasso is very technical. Her boxing is so good. But man, like, saw Grasso come in. She did not look smaller than Macy Barber at all.
Strength up against the fence, against the cage. Yeah, she was handling Macy.
Yeah.
Until that third round, Macy probably should have made it dirty like that the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Grasso was stinging her, boy, with the counters. I like that kind of stuff. I like watching that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The footwork.
I'm in. Whenever she fights, I'm in. I want to see that until she fights Valentina, and then it's like, good night. Like,
what can you do there? But I mean, like she made it interesting, and like that technicality, I feel like Macy wanted to get a little more aggressive.
Right.
Maybe the first round was a little bit of ring rust. Second round was like trying to figure out the puzzle. Third round, Macy, you know, she started getting it going, where she was like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and just make it a fight. She's a bulldog when she wants to be.
Right.
But by that time, Grasso had just, you know, frustrated her too much with the movement, with the footwork, with the hands, like, and she was able to cover that distance. She was able to get inside and fight off, and like you said, fight off those wrestling exchanges, like turn some things around.
She had the jiu-jitsu game up, like threw up some submissions and all that. I was like, oh, she's completely well-rounded. I like her a lot. She's on the list.
She brought her stock up, man.
I'm in. And Macy did not lose her stock. Well, she was losing her stock in the first, second round. When she showed up in that third round, I was like, okay. Like, you know, I was gonna clown her. I'm like, you lost to Roxanne. Granted, you got injured, but you know, all that trash talking you were doing to her, and you know, to lose like that. Again, you were injured, but you know, it's Roxanne Modafferi. I'm like,
right. And like, and well, for Macy, like she was also the type of trash talker where you didn't really know how she was going to rebound from a loss that well. Like Conor, we had seen him. He's so brash. He sets up fights really good. He sells fights with controversy.
Yeah.
Like he definitely pushes the envelope, you know, like to the brink, over the brink with Khabib, of course, but like to the brink with almost everybody. You know, like that's what Conor does. Macy was kind of in that same range of like, I'm going to destroy you. I can't be beaten. I'm going to be the youngest champ. Like this narrative was going for her. And then when she lost, it was like she had this excuse of the injury.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, you could tell she was heartbroken, but her body failed her. You can't take that away. In this one, it's going to be interesting to see how Macy turns it around mentally. And like, hopefully she uses this as a springboard to say, you know what? Because she said, like, I'm going to be right back. You know, it didn't seem like she was taking it too hard. So I like this growth mentally from Macy. she's going to be a problem. Whoever fights her next is going to have their hands full.
Look, Valentina's at the top. You better get your ass beat now before you know what I mean? If you don't get hurt before that, I mean, you're being fooled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're fooled. And you need to take some licks before you get to her.
Yeah.
Like Ethan Rose, who I'll tell you I'm not a fan of. I do respect her talent, but I just don't buy the fake humility. I'm not into it. But she lost several fights. She lost to Carolina before. She lost to the wrestler girl. I can't remember her name, but she lost in like tough and all that stuff before. That's why I was like, oh, Joanna's gonna kill her, and she had been learning all that time, and she showed that she's one of she's had to work on some stuff. Macy needs that right now. When you know what's at the top, if you got to go see the wizard, you better get the heart, the courage. You know what I mean? You better go see the Tin Man. You better go see the Lion. You better go to who else did Dorothy have to see?
Right.
All of that before you get up there. That's all I'm saying.
Right. You better talk to the Lollipop Guild. You better talk to all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's levels. There's levels to this. The level to this, I mean, from a Grasso to a Shevchenko. Come on, man. I mean, like
the phone you can't see the gap.
I mean, like, can we go high? There we go. We're going, oh, there's a ceiling. It's up there.
Yeah. That gap is huge. You better go and get some work in. You better, this was the best thing for Macy. Like, and like I said, I like what she did in the third round. So she showed up, and I can't really, I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what it is. That rematch between them, they need to fight each other 2 more times before either of them fights Valentina.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, hopefully for Macy, this is a springboard, just like how Sandhagen used the Aljo loss. Like, if Sandhagen hadn't had that loss and he got in there with Jan and Jan starched him in 30 seconds in a title fight, how do you think that would have helped, mentally? Right. You know what I mean? So this is another thing. It's her first fight back. Whoever fights Macy Barber next is just going to have their hands full, because you can tell, like, her attitude, she's going to be like, all right, kill or be killed this next fight. And
she put it down in that third round. She was coming, and Grasso was tired and like, yo, who is this person in here with?
Right. So, but Grasso, I mean, I feel like that was a good learning experience for her too. Like, even though I can get over on you for the majority of a fight, there's still, a lot of fight left in these fights. Like, nobody's going to give up.
Yeah, that was great for both of their cardio. That was good ring time, cage time, whatever you want to call it. That was good for them. And it didn't harm them. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a war that's going to take away from them. That was all good for them. All good. Right.
So that was good. I mean, like, Barber didn't bounce back, but Grasso moved up. And then the fight before that, which I had a ton of questions about, was going to be Gastelum versus Heinisch.
Yeah.
And like, Ian is that type of dude. Like, he's a tough guy. He's one of these up and comers. Mm-hmm. But it was another, like, the storyline of that fight for me was, is this fight too big for Ian right now? Did he need one more big fight, one more big win before he jumped in there with a killer? Like Kelvin, who's super duper motivated. Right. You could tell both of these dudes, they were like, Ian was fighting for like that next, you could tell he was fighting to like climb the ladder. And Kelvin was fighting to not drown. What I mean? Like, because Kelvin's that's 4 fights in a 3 or 4 fights that he lost in a row.
It was 3, yeah. So he needed that. His wrestling was better than Duke.
It was, which was crazy because Ian is a crazy good wrestler.
Man, dude was all Gaston was all on his back. I think he tried to get a sub in the first or the second or something like that. He almost got it. Something like that.
I mean, it's hard. Once I saw the Burns fight, I was
Yeah, right.
forgot about everything else.
But I think Kelvin almost locked in a rear naked choke. I think.
Oh yeah. Or it was,
Huh?
yeah. I mean, I was super impressed with Kelvin's wrestling. I mean, just even what I do remember distinctly was like his control of Ian up against the fence and how much pressure he was putting on him there. And man, like striking, man, like Kelvin, even though like not everything he was throwing was landing, you tell like it was just he's back. So I mean, I'm glad that he's keeping it interesting. I'm glad that he got his win because Kelvin is so good. I mean, like he was just fighting for a title. What, in 19?
Yep, right here in Atlanta. And
2 years ago.
Yeah, like he's given Israel his toughest fight. Gave him his only war that he's had.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see Kelvin back, and like Kelvin hasn't really had like terrible. Like it's not bad to get subbed out by Jack Hermanson, who is just absolutely monstrous. You know what I mean?
I want to see him against what's that guy's name? He's kind of mouthy, and Israel. He went against Israel. He went the distance with him in a 3-rounder.
Oh, Vittori?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Vittori's a problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I want to see. Yeah, I want to see Gastelum and him. There's somebody else I want to see him with. I think it's sheesh, my scouts.
Well, we got Izzy, Whitaker, Costa, Cannonier, Vittori, Hermanson, Till, and then Holland too.
Yeah.
At 185. So, there's, I mean, dude, Kevin Holland and Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah. Or Kevin Holland and Vittori.
Yeah. Now that's a fight. I like where you're going with that.
Holland and what did we just Till?
Yeah. Yeah. And that would be good for the range too, because Holland is a longer guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Till is injured again?
He must be, because I see him online just talking a lot.
Right.
Did you see him get arrested?
Yeah. Oh, well, he wasn't getting arrested. It was crazy because I was like watching fights, and then Till went live. So I was like, what's Darren Till talking about? Because you always want to see. He's like, like, get out of me car, get out of me car, get out of my face, go do some real work. I was just like, what is going on with this dude, man?
Yeah, he said the cop thought he was a drug dealer. I mean, he looks like a drug dealer, especially.
Yeah, but he wasn't wearing a mask, and he was at the gas station, and so like.
Right, he was saying the guy really just was kind of messing with him because he thought he was like, look at a young dude,
right,
in Liverpool, like where that's what the drug dealers look like.
Right.
He got profiled.
Right, white guys.
He was in a fancy ass car, and he got profiled. He wasn't having it.
Right, exactly, right. Well, welcome to I can't say our world. Welcome to. Welcome to America in England. But bro, we got freaking profiled in London, man. Dude, in Europe the cops don't have guns. Like in London, regular cops don't have guns. But like we were out all night. We went to a jam session, and then there was this like 24-hour Chinese restaurant after that was open after, and so we went out, got food. So we're pulling back up to the hotel. I literally see the hotel like 2 or 3 blocks away, just with some friends. And we're driving in a car because they lived there, and it was like a couple of us from America and a couple of them. And it was definitely a DWB situation. Driving while black, if nobody knows what that means. Huh?
Who are you with?
That was with Kanye at the time.
Okay.
I was
Oh, yeah.
with Kanye at the time. But you know, and so, bro, out of nowhere, like, and we're tired because it's 5 a.m. We've been up all day, had a show, had a jam session, ate food, like we're done.
Mhm.
And so finish line is right there. And we see the hotel, and next thing you know, I'm looking around, and there is just cops like a paddy wagon pulls in front of us, and like 12 cops jump out, and they're cops with guns. I
Mm.
was like, oh
Right,
my
right.
God, dude. Like,
Wow.
and in another country, you're
Right.
definitely, you know,
Yeah.
for me, I was
Yeah,
like,
I don't like no kind of cop interactions in other countries at all. Like,
no,
I don't
no,
like interactions, period. But I definitely don't like I don't want to be true. You know, no, 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 no.
and they,
I ain't nowhere else. I don't want to be in. I don't want nobody to show up nowhere near me in another country.
right now. But bro, they jumped out with guns. They pulled us all out. They searched all our stuff, and I was like, man, I'm American. My hotel's right there. We're just hanging out, you know. But it's
Mm-hmm.
scary, man. I mean, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
bad running with the cops. It can go.
Right. So
It
that
can
was the
go
whole
south.
Kanye crew or whatever, and they were just like, boom, what they were driving like y'all in like the sprinters and stuff.
No, because we weren't even like it wasn't even a whole crew of us. It was just like me and one other guy from the band, and we were just with a couple friends from the UK who live over there. And so, you know, it was that same thing, like, oh no, we assumed you guys were bad guys or something. And it was like, or you guys fit the description. That's basically what the cops told me. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, let me get my stuff and get out of here. Can I just walk to the hotel? I'm tired. But
Yeah,
it was crazy to see Till just mouthing off to him like that. But
yeah. He was saying, 'cause I watched him talking to Michael Bisping later, and then it was hilarious because then they were both talking, and then Till was deep in his whole like Scouse accent.
all
You
right,
barely understand half of what they were saying, but you know, Bisping can catch it, so
right.
it was like it was hilarious watching it.
I'm sure I gotta look that up.
You look like a drug dealer.
Right.
It was like, yeah, you really did a lot for the kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jared Till was like, well, I'm sorry, it was messed up. I should have done it like that, but whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, Darren
Yeah.
Till, you know, he must be injured or something. Yeah, because he had a broken nose. That was the whole thing why he wasn't wearing a mask.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, he is injured. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't wearing a mask, and yeah, he was just going to the store or getting gas or something like that. But that's crazy too in those countries where like the cops are tasked to come at you about that. Man.
Crazy. I mean, say,
Huh?
yeah,
Huh?
it's just
I would hate that if I'm a cop having to like have that as an extra. Oh, there's a new law that you got to go after people for a mask.
right.
I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not stopping anybody about that. Like, you know, I'll keep it to regular stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not coming after nobody with a mask. No, I'm not about a mask. Unless we're in a like how Trey Songz was in his football stadium without a mask on and not drinking a beer apparently. Get a beer, but you didn't anyway. But yeah, unless you're in a place, a venue, and that's your job as security. But as a cop, just riding around, please, no.
There's bigger fish to fry, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So you know. Anyway,
But yeah,
so Till must be out for a broken nose or something like that. And I hope because all I see is him talking. Him and Mike Perry were talking trash to each other last night.
of course they were. Those two got the biggest bromance.
Right.
Dude, you saw when Till Mike Perry was like, for $5,000 you can pay to like come and sit in my corner. And Darren Till was like, sign me up. I'm there. I'll come corner you. Mike Perry was like, hell no, get out of my face.
Yeah, I like them two together. I hope Mike Perry can get help or whatever if he needs it. You know what I'm saying? I like him. I want him to stay in the UFC, get some fights, get some wins. What is he at? 172?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at 170.
I want him to be around. I like him. I want it because I feel like his life is almost in a Mike Tyson dark era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if Mike Tyson can get through it, anybody can, boy.
Right.
I can't believe Mike Tyson's having the time he's having now. Because it's like, I mean, I swore every day was going to be the day where Mike Tyson died, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
It's always those ones, like the ones that you think aren't going to make it are just so tough and so stubborn.
Yeah.
That,
He's in the clear now. He's been in the clear now about 10 years. Just cruising. I mean, I don't know if he's cruising, but I think he's out of the woods. You know what I mean? I'm happy to see Mike Tyson. I think Mike Perry's in a dark zone right now, and I hope it works out.
But he's getting better though. I feel like he is. He's got a kid on the way, which is he just came out with that apology for saying the N-word, because when he got in a fight at the restaurant, he was calling the dude the N-word and stuff. And I was like, man, Mike, that's, for you probably don't care. But for me, it's like, there's one word that white people can't say, and it's that. Just
I disagree. And like, I think tell people, like, look, I don't want nobody calling me that, like black or right. I don't use it really. I use it. When I use it, I mean it for what it means. So I mean the shit on your life. You know what I'm saying? And, I understand that other people use it, and it's been in hip hop so long that if other people want it, they're gonna use it. It's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't my fault that it is, but I wish if we had not had if Richard Pryor is who made me say it. Because when I was growing up, I didn't say it either. I remember my uncles and cousins would be like, "Do not say that," and I was like, "Yeah, I won't." But then Richard Pryor made it so popular, and then hip hop, and then I remember saying that I wouldn't say it, and then I would say it, and then and that's how it is for everybody else too. It's a cultural thing. It will be something that you don't want to say, but then you hear it so much, you're gonna say it. And there's people that wouldn't be you, but there's people younger than you that. There are people our age that are white that grew up saying it, not even to a black dude. They say it to just like Mike Perry. He says it. He was saying it to white people because he's used to it. Why is he used to it? Because it's in our culture, American culture. Period. It's just what it is. If it was up to me, it would have never got this far, but it is. So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how it's gonna play out now, but I think it's kind of silly to be like policing people, about something that. If they're gonna not say it, I wish everybody wouldn't say it. But people say it. So Kendrick Lamar brings somebody up on the stage, sing my song, and then be like, "Don't say that word." It's dumb. It's over with. For somebody, I look at it as a generational thing. People my age talking to me won't say it, right? And there's white people that I've been around that obviously won't say it. And I think it's one of those things where if you say it a lot, if they're around somebody that says it, then they get to the point where they'll say it. But like this dude, a friend of mine, he used to produce records for a whole crew of white guys. It was like Bubba Stax was in this group. They had like Crazy Ass White Boys, I think was their name of their like collective. Bubba Sparks was in it. A dude named Haystack from Nashville. This other guy, and that other guy, I forget his name, but he was coming over to the studio. And this guy, my friend, the black dude, was telling me they use it. And he was kind of trying to set me up to like, basically he's going to be saying it when he comes over, and like, you should, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want him to do that. You know what I mean? So the guy didn't, right? But he does all the time. You know what I'm saying? And the dude was telling me that he does it all the time around him. It happens way more than we know, to be honest.
Oh, of course. And because, in private interactions, it's definitely, like if there's a level of comfort, like even if it's Bubba Sparks, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if he says it or not, but like if he doesn't know you, I feel like he would still possibly refrain from using it just because he doesn't know you.
Right. Yeah, it's the same way. There's certain words I don't like. Everybody is pretty, good at doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't say certain words around gay people, but you know what I'm saying? I don't say certain things around women, but I have. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Or you may think it.
Huh? Yeah.
Or you may think it.
Right. So I get it. Yeah. But also, these gay people don't just throw it all around me all the damn time either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so they know. And I think that we are like, you know, I wouldn't, it's not even we. It's like whoever, because I ain't in that we of black people that use it in every song. I have it in some of my songs. You know what I'm saying? But I have it, it's in context of what it is too. You know what I'm saying? And so, and it was when I was being stupid about it too, to be honest. But yeah, I just damn, we're supposed to be talking about MMA anyway. Yeah. But Perry, I caught him, and he was saying it with Tyron Woodley, and Tyron Woodley's cool with it, and Mike Perry really has it to where it's like you can't beat his ass, so he's gonna say it. Yeah, I got Mike Perry probably wouldn't say it around me because just on a peaceful level, I'd be like, yeah, please don't do that. You know what I mean? No, I'm not gonna beat you for it, but I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's fine. But for everybody, if he's around 20 people and I'm in that room too, he probably would use it. And what am I gonna do?
He might, because I mean, he was using it at that restaurant when he was all heated up. You know, like I didn't hear Mike Perry use it a lot, but the fact of the matter is that like for me, Mike Perry now has changed his mentality of like, F you, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and changed it to like, I'm going to flip this. I'm going to be more responsible. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to start looking at myself. So hopefully, you know, hopefully that darkness.
That definitely ain't his biggest problem. His biggest personal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
It's just his heat. Him using that, you could keep using it wherever you've been using it, dude. Like, because nobody got a problem with it. Do you not see him with Tyron Woodley talking about it?
Oh, yeah. But, you know, that was even like, what, 3 or 4 months ago?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was around the time that Woodley was about to fight Colby.
Mm-hmm. I got a friend. One more story about that. I got a friend, white friend, who him and his brother were watching fights with me about last year, maybe 2 years ago. And they were talking to each other. And the one said, basically, please. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, to his brother. And then we were drunk. And I looked, it was cracking me up because it slipped out. You know, you could tell. I was like, you say that all the time, huh? And they were like, yeah, we do to each other all the time. It's just like, because you know, I'm like, that's hilarious. And then it was this whole thing of like, yeah, you know, you don't get to just keep saying it, you know what I'm saying? But that's funny. I mean, I'm not mad, you know, but you weren't talking to me. You know what I'm saying?
No, of course not. But I mean, you know, hopefully it's a sign of maturity. Hopefully it's a sign of him moving on, you know, and like trying to be better.
Somebody said something. You know, that's just politics. He will continue to say it. They shouldn't even had his private moment of talking. I just don't get it. Why, like we weren't like, why am I gonna be upset about something I wasn't even supposed to hear? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Mike Perry called a white dude the N-word. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the other dude, the country singer. He did it. He was talking to this white homeboy. Everybody's like, oh, I'm like, welcome. Now y'all know that people say it. We should just, I don't know. That's the thing. Again, in private settings, you can say it. But you say it to whoever you want to say it to. It's a you know, but if somebody captures your private moment, are we supposed to cancel you? No.
I don't know. See, for me, it's like words. We need to know the intentions, like before we just judge what somebody says. Like for me, there's so much history with that word that like to me it doesn't matter the intentions, but I get why Black people say it. Because like I was same thing. When I first got to college, I was like, why, you know, like I had Black roommates and like they would use the N-word a lot. And I was saying, I'm like,
there's
can
nothing good about it. There's nothing good about Black people saying it. I don't care what it is. And I've said the same thing before too about like the intention and we changed it. Then why are you feeling so hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because it is that intent. So like if a white person was to use that word, the ER version of it instead of the A. Because, like, let's be honest, there is an intention difference there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, you can hurt somebody's feelings. If you want
Yeah.
to, I mean, if you're talking, but guess what? That again is cultural. So like, guess what? Like I mentioned that the other week, Nigerians, if they want to say something bad about Black Americans, they use the word akata. Now, they've been using it so much that some people don't mean anything bad by it, right? They're used to hearing it because that's how they would describe a Black American, like, oh, he's that, you know what I mean? But it has a negative connotation, but guess what? Nobody cares if a Nigerian says it because they don't really have a problem with Nigerians. They don't feel oppressed by Nigerians.
Right.
They don't, you know what I mean? And people that feel oppressed by any damn body, then you're just putting your own, like, I mean, look, this goes back to I'm not no victim. I don't care about none of that. If some white dude calls me something, I can call it back to him. That's it. And like I grew up, every racial fight I ever had growing up, well, Black people won. So I don't say when I hear it. Like, I just don't. I'll be like, oh, okay. Oh, you trying to piss me off. Okay, then. It's funny that the worst thing you can call a white guy is a racist. You can say cracker. They don't even care. No. They're like, okay. You can say all those other words. They don't even, but if you say racist, like,
right.
But somehow the N-word is supposed to hurt my feelings. No, if you use it, I know I got to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
exactly.
Then we can take it wherever we're going to take it. But I don't feel like, everybody got to feel sorry for me now. No, I just think we shouldn't be using it. Nobody should use it, but it's too late. And ain't nobody asked me. So we're going to be saying it. And guess what? White people are going to say it. That's probably the thing. Hey, we got to die. You and I, when we're dead, it's going to be there.
Yeah. I don't disagree there. I mean, I don't see, and I'm with you. Like, it's frivolous to try to police what everybody says, but like Mike Perry was getting a pass, because you can tell, like, you said it's a cultural thing, and you can tell that Mike Perry is engrossed in Black culture. Like, he's just that
hood thug culture.
Yeah.
Not Black culture, but Black thug culture. That's right. And that's the problem is I think some people just equate all Black culture with thug culture. And it's like, that's hood stuff. Like, I mean, we can all have some connection with that, but that ain't my culture. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Because we do, and unfairly, like, we automatically assume that, like, what's popular in pop music or hip hop, that's automatically like majority Black culture, which is definitely,
right.
short-sighted.
Obama, when he chose to figure out how to be Black, he chose the MLK accent. He didn't choose. He didn't. Different ways to be Black. He went with that one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I'm not, I'm not cool with I think that's the bigger problem is that people equate that and they just think we all care about that. Like, people use that word I use that word for a specific meaning. I do understand the whole, like, use of it as a term of endearment or whatever. I understand what people are trying to say, but I think that's a failed experiment. And so, like, just let it go. It's not gonna work.
So here's my only thing to that. My one question that I've had, like, what is the word that could replace that word as a term of endearment that would have the same effect? And, like, for people who don't know my background, I spent, I mean, like, damn near 20 years, like, as the only white person around. Not saying that as like, not saying that as any Black, sort of way, but Black, like,
Black wife, Black children.
Pretty much, no, they're biracial now. Like, we have to, but yes, like, I don't care about this. I was saying that as a joke, but like, when I would hear my friends say it, I'd be like, well, it does to say how the kids say it hits different. Like, there is something about it. Like, as a term of endearment, as like a way to clown somebody, but in a term of endearment, like I've never found, or I've never thought of like, oh, this is an equal representation of what this word means.
I mean, there's plenty of terms of endearment, brother, guy. I mean, my friend, my boy, people.
But for example, no,
huh?
I totally agree. I'm not disagreeing with you, but like when you hear guys like be like, they couldn't say like, these brothers over here, like it's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
But that's because it's been repeated so often.
True.
That's the only reason. You could just repeat something else and we'll be talking about something else, because before you ever heard it, there was something else. Before Richard Pryor, who made it really cool, who I love Richard Pryor, but he's the one that made it cool. Like before him, nobody ever said that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure people said it here and there, but it wasn't like, that's why when with older people like Oprah even will be like, what is wrong with y'all? Right. You know what I mean? Because they're just not used to that. It's a generational thing, and it's mostly hip hop. It's Richard Pryor and a bunch of people that grew up on him that rap. You know what I'm saying? And and that's it. And it just so happens that our generation, that is so pervasive that it's hard to even imagine that you could say something nice about somebody without
True.
And it's like, we just don't need to do it, but we did it already. Culture is very powerful. Richard Pryor on his own literally made it, and he even tried to turn it back a little bit, but then even after that he went back to using it. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, that was where I heard it so much that was starting to entertain me. I grew up on Richard Pryor records. My dad would be like listening to Richard Pryor on his headphones, cracking up. And we'd be like, what is he listening to? And he'd leave and we'd put it on and listen to it. And we're all, and everybody did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all the rappers came out and hip hop just made it pervasive. Like they made a bunch of other things pervasive. You know what I mean? And there was a time even before that, like that early hip hop was not with that. Like this is a recent phenomenon. It ain't no more than 20 years old.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, I'm glad Mike Perry is off his Richard Pryor then.
Well, he ain't. He's just doing
he
that.
says he is. He says he is. So I hope he is. I hope we can take him at his word. You know, people can change. It's happened. It's hard to do, but people can.
Right. But I don't. But again, that ain't even the worst thing that's going on in his life. His shit is personal. Yeah. I don't feel like he ain't got to fix nothing with me. He got to fix it with himself and his own life, and it ain't got nothing to do with that work.
Bro, when he had his girlfriend cornering him,
yes,
and she was like, "You're doing so good, baby." He was like, "Give me water."
Right.
Yeah. He's like, "Don't talk, just give me my water."
I feel for him because he's an emotional mess, and like and it's a tough game, man. That game is, look at what they have to do, dog. Like, you know what I mean? And everybody's not gonna be rich. Everybody's not gonna get the belt. Everybody's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I think he's very emotional and very, I don't know, got some mental things going on where anything can tip him over. So, you know, like the least thing that I remember from that interaction with those people was that part. And actually, I thought that was their fault anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that fight that he had, I thought they was messing with him. So I was like, yeah, well, again, that shouldn't have been taped. You know what I mean? that shouldn't have been taped because, you know, but regardless of that tape, I've seen him in too many problems. I mean, you know, too many problems in his life to where I'm like, I'm worried about Mike Perry. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and apparently, like he's trying to step away from alcohol a little bit more. You know, I mean,
yes.
This is definitely something. Like we can tell that like a lot of his dark moments have come under the influence of.
Yeah, get out of there. Like, he definitely got to do that. Yeah, and especially because I just don't even, like, there's guys in there that don't even drink at all. So, and you're gonna get older. Like, I don't know how old he is now, but you know, and then already Mike Perry's in that position where he's kind of a gatekeeper, and so somebody's gonna come through trying to prove themselves, and they're gonna and then the type of fighter that he is, which is like, you know, blood and guts. Somebody's gonna come through and hurt him. You know what I'm saying? And I just want him to get enough money to be able to, like, you know, make it through. You know, of course he's probably got more money than me already, but you know, I'm just saying.
I hope he's got more money than me. If he doesn't, then
All right.
then he's doing something very wrong.
But I don't have to go get punched in the head to get my money, so I can do this for a while.
Right. All we got to do is a podcast to not get paid.
Right. Yeah. You know, I don't worry about that dude. And then also he's the type to just be out. And yeah, even with the N-word thing, he gets shot. Because black people get shot for it all the time. Like, using it on each other. Like, so yeah, he could, in his life.
You're in Miami? Woo.
Yeah, you're in some street stuff that could get you shot, period. As a fighter, he's that guy. He don't know how to keep it, you know. You get the notion that even, like, say, Jorge, he's out of the woods with that. Like, he ain't in the streets. He's not gonna fight anybody, you know.
Maybe in a club.
Yeah.
But not in the street.
But he can, I feel like if Jorge gets in some street violence that is bad for him, it would surprise me. If Mike Perry got in some street violence, it wouldn't surprise me.
No, you know? I'd be like, oh, of course. It's Mike Perry. What if Mike and Jorge got into it on the streets of Miami together?
They would win.
Yes, they would.
I don't care if it was 10 people, they would win. Like, I listened to Jorge talk about that. And not only is he super good at it, but he's also slick. So, like, he knows how to get people without being got. And like, he strikes first.
Yeah.
You know, he overwhelming force. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get in street stuff, because, well, one, I'm too old for that anyway, but two, I don't have it in me to just, like, destroy somebody, which is what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? And
risk going to jail forever by hitting somebody first. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But you have to. You know what I'm saying?
In order to win a street fight legally, like, in the eyes of the law, you have to be defending yourself. And in order to win most street fights, you have to be offending yourself. So, I mean, thoughts and prayers with Mike Perry, man. Yes, we want to see him back soon, man.
That's all I'm saying. And you can tell that word to anybody you want to say it to, not me.
Right, because I will tell you that you shouldn't do it, and I will not try to start a fight with you over it.
Exactly. I mean, being honest, you gotta, you know, I'm not a tough guy, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a mature man, and I will talk to you like an adult, and I will ask for you to respect my wishes to not say that shit. If you, I'll just leave it at that.
So, man, you didn't catch any of the other fight. You didn't see Adolfo against Fluffy Hernandez, did you?
No, I heard about that.
So
that was the guy that was the jiu-jitsu guy that got submitted.
Yeah, but man, like, bro, Rodolfo Vieira, like, his jiu-jitsu is one of the just most impressive things I've ever seen. Like, it's so insane. And, like, that fight started, and he was on so Fluffy apparently, like, took that fight on, I think it was shorter notice that he took.
His name is Fluffy?
Well, that's his nickname. It's Anthony Hernandez. It's Fluffy Hernandez. I just know him as Fluffy because, like, tough dude, man. And, like, game, you know, they kept saying he was game. And, like, I was like, you can be game, but you're in there with a 7-time world champion jiu-jitsu dude. Like, and the first thing Rodolfo does is get his hands on him.
Right.
Takes him down, goes hard, like, gets him in some bad positions, but Fluffy survives and ends up coming back. And Rodolfo was so gassed out. it was crazy. Like you could see at the end of the first that he was just super gassed out. And then by the second, Fluffy started piecing him up a little bit, and then he submitted Adolfo
Now,
Vera.
was this Rodolfo's first UFC fight or something?
Second UFC fight. So, and it's crazy. I saw it, like he put something out too. He was like, I don't know what happened. I had a great camp. My weight cut was fine. I've never been that tired before. And he went really hard, like searching for that submission, especially because they were both dry. I thought Fluffy, there was no chance he was getting out of it once he got his hands on him. I was like, this has to be a ground fight. Because in Adolfo's first fight, he did get pieced up on the feet. Like you can tell he's not there yet. And man, like, but to see a dude like that, I just got to give it up to Fluffy Hernandez, man, because you subbed out a 7-time world champion, like one of the nastiest dudes in jiu-jitsu ever, and you submitted him.
But this is MMA, baby. You know, I saw something where he hurt him with a punch. So yeah, that will.
But he was so tired. He was so tired at that point. Like it was really the fatigue. Like it wasn't the feet game that set up the fatigue or set up that position. You know what I mean? It was really like just how tired he was. And, I mean, for me, that was just like, as a fan of high level jiu-jitsu, I was so interested in this fight, and man, to see him lose, I felt bad because I wanted to see him win, but man, I just got to give it up to Fluffy because that's so good.
So the Fluffy guy,
Fluffy.
It's like I'm Fluffy David, you know.
My fluffer.
So Fluffy, his own game was much more than you had seen before, or do you remember seeing him before?
I mean, no, I've seen him fight. I know I've seen him fight one time previously, and like you can tell like he's in that Hamza, Kevin Holland, like younger dudes who are just hungry and nasty. You know what I mean? So like he's good, but you don't know how good they are. You don't know if he's like next level good or if he's just on a tear and like catching people. Is like Hamza when he knocked out Mearshart with one punch. It was like, okay, we know this dude is for real. Like subbing a dude like Vieira. Yeah. You know, I mean, and seeing how he weathered the storm, because same thing, like how Usman weathered that storm. It was like as impressive as that to me, because I mean, like when a dude, that's like a boa constrictor wraps you up and is wrapped around your neck and you get out of it. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. Well, good for him. Shoot, I don't know. I wish I'd have seen that. All I saw was the strike that set it up, and then I only saw a highlight, and then and then the other guy, I guess he's just got to learn how to put it together better, huh? You know?
Yeah. We'll see. He'll be back.
Yeah,
and he's built. They like he's chiseled out of concrete, dude. This dude is.
Right. Who else? Because my phone's about to die too, so I want to cover one. I'm trying to. Who else? Who do they have? Who else do we see?
So Marquez, he subbed out. Who was? Oh, Marquez was fighting Patoli.
I don't know them.
Yeah, so like Patoli is the Hawaiian dude, and Marquez is coming back. He hasn't fought in a while, but he got a submission, and he was fighting a tough dude in Patoli. And man, like, but after the fight, it was so funny. His interview, he said
that's the one that Miley Cyrus got?
He called out Miley Cyrus, and Miley responded. She was like, if you shave MC into your chest hair, I'll do it. So
I want them to get together. I think that'd be good.
Might as well. Even though with somebody? I mean, she looks just like her dad.
How would we know? Well, you got daughters, right?
Yeah.
Is she into Miley Cyrus?
No, not at all. No, bro. My daughter is 12. Have you heard any of Miley Cyrus's songs lately? Like, this isn't Hannah Montana, Miley.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I was thinking. I don't know what
But I mean, you know, I don't know. Other than that, I mean, the Bobby Green fight got scratched because his bad weight cut. He said he was having kidney stuff, and
Ooh, that's
and then that Robertson versus Maverick, the girl fight, they got canceled too because of a bad weight cut. But they both made weight, so
all right.
you know, I mean, the rest of the card, you know, Ricky Simon and Brian Kelleher, that got moved up from the prelims. That was that 145 fight.
How was that?
That was really good. I mean, it was really good.
You're running those. I didn't see these.
Yeah, Ricky Simon, like he looked really good. A lot of pressure, a lot of wrestling. You know, I mean, it was a good fight. I mean, it was a decision win. So there wasn't a ton of fireworks, but you could tell it was just two very evenly matched guys, and you know, fought it out. I mean, overall, it was a good card. It was definitely better than, you know, the past couple of cards. You know, I mean, like, to me, like, this pay-per-view was better than January's pay-per-view. Just top to.
Oh yeah. There was nobody on there, so they put all the money in the headliner there.
Yeah.
Who's coming? What's coming again? Oh, your boys.
Well, Blades and Lewis this week.
Yep.
So yeah, we got to save that. We got to do another one this week.
All right. You know who I got already. So
right.
You want to wait to cover them?
Yeah.
About to die.
Yeah, and I got to get out of here. I gotta.
All right.
Gotta get running too,
but I will just say Lewis hot anyway.
I hope he does, man. Jeez, man, we'll break it down. It was great rapping, bro. And
yes,
man,
indeed, bro.
Usman Burns. Woo! Gotta go back. I want to watch that like 20 more times.
Yeah, I think I'll have that on the. Yeah, that was a good one. I watched that. Usman's getting some stuff that I actually will watch more than once. That's crazy. He's got. Hey, I can't say, you know. But next question is him and Wonder Boy. Let's see what's up.
Yeah,
that's what I want. That's
or
what
him
I
and Masvidal. I kind of want the Masvidal fight, but either one, I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm always down to see Masvidal scrap. That's what's up.
Of course. But man, great talking, brother. Let's get at it later in the week. Let's set up this upcoming card.
Yeah, that's I don't know, Friday, Saturday, whatever we call.
Let's do it. All right. Easy.